Chris Brown, Steve Tasker, joined in studio now by Bills team reporter Maddy Glab. As we kind of prepare and ramp up for Week 8 at Carolina, and, you know, you've been siphoning through some Bills post-bye stuff, and there's some encouraging stuff that comes out of that, right?
There is some encouraging stuff that comes out of a bye week, and unfortunately, the Bills have faced 2 straight losses, and a bye week gives you time to reflect, gives you a time to accept what has happened, and now we start to move forward. The players do that, the coaches do that, and the fans do that.
Now I feel like Maddie's our therapist.
We are. We're going
down a rabbit
Should I get a
hole.
couch?
We are
Should I get on a
going
couch
into-
here?
We're all getting
I feel like
philosophical.
I should recline and
We're
get on
going
a couch.
into therapy hour on
Let
One
me
Bills
lean
Live.
back and look at the ceiling and just start to pontificate just for a second. What am I thinking about? Yeah.
And we're going to spin it positive because
Yeah.
it is not good to let losses eat at you. We've had a week off. It is in the past. Now we are moving forward. Are you okay with that, Steve?
Yes. Here's what happened to me yesterday, and let me just give you where my mind is at. I was sitting outside. I had an outdoor TV. It was beautiful.
On your veranda.
And I'm watching Red
it's a
Zone,
beautiful
NFL
veranda.
Red Zone,
Oh.
and it's
Everyone's scoring.
It's like the Almighty has the remote, right?
John
He
Freeman
tells you what you
Octo
want. He's
Box.
telling you what you want to see, and he's right all the time, right? I'm watching this, and I am just getting sadder and sadder
No.
and sadder with
No.
all these guys these teams on our schedule, the teams we've played, they're all looking like world beaters. And I mean,
Remember who they're playing.
and all we can think about is the last time we saw our team walk off, have a 10-point defeat by the Atlanta Falcons, who haven't been able to get out of their own way for a decade, and now and they get beat last night. I was like, it gets worse and worse as the day goes on.
No.
And I'm sitting there going, oh no.
Well, we do know, Maddie, that coming off the bye under Sean McDermott, Bills are pretty damn good.
Yes. 8-0 coming off a bye week with Sean McDermott as the head coach of the Bills. Since 2017, Josh Allen is 7-0 coming off of bye weeks. Pretty good record to have, okay? Then you peel back the layers even more. Coming off of a bye week with Sean McDermott as the head coach, the Bills average 27.5 points per game. They give up 17.6 points per game. Guess how many takeaways they have in those 8 games? 16 takeaways in 8
wow,
games.
that's a big
You know
number.
what that says? It awakens a beast from within. You have a week off, now we're going to get right. Now we're going to get back on track.
It's interesting that average is 2 takeaways per game. Do you want to get pom-pom, Steve? You look excited.
Maddie's over here prophesying. I'm okay. I'm on board with that.
So I will say this. It's interesting that it's 16 takeaways over those 8 post-bye games because thus far this season, the Bills have not had a multi-takeaway game. The most they've had in any one game is 1 takeaway. They've not had a 2-takeaway game, a 3-takeaway game
Seriously?
all season. Yeah.
Wait a minute. They were like +2 on turnovers and stuff on them, weren't they?
Well, let me think.
Yeah.
Oh, it might have been week 1. Week 1?
Week 1 they had
2?
yeah.
They had
Ed.
They had a couple in week
Do we
one,
have a
week
do we
one.
have a multi-takeaway game? I think
Yeah,
Still
hold
back.
on. Yeah, I'll take. Yeah. We got a multi-takeaway game. Come on, bro.
we only have like
They were.
what do we have? 6 total?
They had.
Come on, Jesus.
I've got it. Here we go. Jesus
got
is
it?
on it. Field goals blocked, punts, extra point penalties, fumbles lost. Yeah. Ravens had 1 lost
Fumble
one
in the
lost
fourth quarter.
fumble, and then we have did we have an interception and no interceptions?
Jets, did they have more than 1?
No,
Oh, come on! I can't
Ravens-
believe we didn't have
Ravens
more
was
than 1
1-0.
turnover in one of these. Come on.
the Ravens had 1 turnover.
Yeah, it was the fourth quarter fumble. So I had read that and I
Really?
took it for granted. I probably
I am-
should have double checked to make sure I was right, but I don't believe.
It would be quick to figure it out.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm
let me know
going-
if they
yeah.
have a multi-takeaway game in
I
their
am
first 6.
I am
because
shocked if we don't have a multi-turnover game. Fumbles lost.
Because they only had the
Nope.
pick against
Nope.
Miami in
They
week
haven't.
4.
They have
so
not.
they have
They
not
have
had
not.
a multi-takeaway game this season.
Wow.
So to know that they averaged 2
I am
in their
shocked.
last 8 post-bye games is certainly encouraging. And on top of that, not that this carries a whole lot of weight, but they are going to be facing a backup quarterback this week because we already know Bryce Young's not playing. Andy Dalton in his career against the Bills, 4 games, 6
All right.
touchdowns, 6 picks.
I don't want to split hairs, but Andy Dalton to me doesn't count as a backup quarterback. He's an aging starter.
Okay.
He's not a washed up starter.
No, he's
15 years in the league.
Man, it's 15.
That's different.
Isn't that crazy?
Andy Dalton to me
God,
doesn't
I feel
count as a
old.
backup quarterback. To me, he's a starter who is not playing.
He's a starter without a team. Is that what you're saying, Steve?
I mean, he's a guy who is a starter who is not 28. He's 38 or whatever he is.
He's an older starter.
He's like a Joe Flacco starter.
Okay.
You
Except
know?
Joe Flacco found a place to play and then got traded to another place to play. Andy Dalton doesn't have, well, he does now, but he did not previously.
I don't consider Andy Dalton a backup.
Okay. So you think, you're saying that the Bills should not assume this job is going to be easier on Sunday because it's Andy Dalton at
It's gonna be harder,
quarterback.
man. Andy Dalton's not going to make. He's not going to. Yeah,
He's got nothing to lose.
And he's not going to do something dumb. I
How-
mean, he may try something he's not capable
Yes.
of anymore, but he's not going to be doing anything dumb. In fact, this
Right.
offense may be better with him in there.
Well, they also have Rico Dowdle, who's had a
Rico
great start
Dowdle
to the
has
season.
been pretty darn
they
Top
good.
may-
5 in
and-
rushing yards.
And Carolina may think, listen, if Andy's in there, we're going to do some stuff. Now Rico's going to be a bigger part. We're going to
True.
go to our strengths. Here
Well,
we go.
I don't know why you wouldn't against a Bills defense, that just gave up 238 total yards to Bijan Robinson. So, and Rico Dowdle's EPA before yesterday's game was enormous. It was like 12.3 in expected.
gracious.
He's averaging 5.6 yards per rush right now, best in
Yeah.
the league.
And we have the other thing that presented a problem to the Bills the previous week against Atlanta, big physical receivers, whether it's Kyle Pitts or Drake London. This week, it's Ted McMillan and Xavier Leggett. Leggett. I got to look at the pronunciation guide for him. I think it's Leggett, but we'll find out. But 2 huge dudes, and Leggett goes for 92 yards last week with all the focus on McMillan. They were trying to take him out of the game, the Jets were, with Sauce, and Leggett had a game. I think it was 8 for 92 and a touchdown, right?
People
Something like
are
that.
saying, oh,
So
the,
2
the
big
second-year
physical
receiver
receivers.
is
So you're
starting
gonna-
to figure it out now.
Going to have to muscle up against those
Well,
guys.
Right.
Bills' pass defense hasn't had a lot of balls thrown their way because people have been rushing on the Bills because the Bills' defense has struggled to stop the run. So that's why they have a top 5 passing defense right now. One of the reasons why. But if you think about, okay, maybe the game plan is going to be Rico Dowdle is going to get a lot of the touches because Andy Dalton's going to be in at quarterback. You look at Buffalo's defensive line, who is injury-ridden, but the bright spot, which you guys have already talked about, is getting Michael Hoecht and Larry Ogunjobi back. And Ogunjobi is a defensive tackle who offers you veteran experience to a room that is riddled with injuries,
Well-
specifically the interior of the defensive
Yeah,
line.
and their veteran leader,
Yeah.
who is Daquan Jones. The calf
Daquan is the
injury
guy you
is
think
week to
about
week.
now. T.J. Sanders and those other guys on IR. Those guys, I like where it's at. Daquan is the guy you're thinking about now that's out of there. That's
Right.
that's the
Yes.
guy you're going to
Yes.
miss now because T.J. Sanders, we still didn't know about him.
And he's on IR.
Yeah, and the who's
Dwayne Carter?
Dwayne Carter. But you're still down
is
bodies.
also down. So you're down bodies, but now the one you're missing is Daquan because you were kind of counting on
Yeah.
him. The other guys were let's wait and see kind of guys. But yeah, that Hoyt and Ogunjobi hopefully are going to do exactly what we've been hoping they would do.
Yeah.
We'll see if they can come in and give us depth and production.
Yeah,
both.
no pressure. First week back. Here you go. What can you do for us? Michael Hoyt, as a defensive end, offers this defense some flexibility. We know how he likes to line up all over the place. He gives that defensive line some spice. It's harder to prepare for a defense when you have somebody
Well-
like him who can line up in different places.
And that's the other thing. So we always talk about teams that are coming off a bye. You get a chance to add a few wrinkles. The Bills are adding 2 players that the Panthers have 0 tape on
Right.
in a Bills uniform outside of the preseason games in terms of how they are going to be utilized, not to mention the fact that you've had a coaching staff with extra time defensively to plan on how to use them in a way that might be different from some of their schemes through the first 6 games. So they really have a chance to really spring some stuff on the Panthers. I wonder how much they put on display against the Panthers and how much they keep under wraps until they play the Chiefs the following week.
Another stat that I was interested in finding more about offensively for Buffalo, our office kind of started to dive into offensive success rate for Buffalo this season. Shout out to Alec White, who helped figure out these stats. Buffalo's top 10 in offensive success rate right now, 52.1%. That's second best in the NFL. You look at the last 2 weeks in the losses in week 5 and week 6, and offensively, not as great. And the questions went to Joe Brady last week about what are you going to do on offense to help create a more productive unit when they're out there.
So it doesn't look like such a heavy lift.
And in week 5 and week 6, they were still top 10 in offensive success rate. 53%, that's 7th best in the league. That says not everything is going wrong when after coming off of that week 6 loss to the Falcons, you know, you lose that game by 10 points. People are like, what is going on? What is this offense?
Really. That's been
There's a couple things that go wrong that could have gone right, and it's a completely different game. You still have Josh Allen at quarterback. You were injured with Dalton Kincaid. He's been your blitz beater this season. He's been one of your man beaters this season. You get him back in the fold. He was labeled as day-to-day the last time we spoke to Sean McDermott. So you may be getting healthier in that area as well.
Yeah, it's interesting because how can you score 14 points and still be at the top of the league in efficiency? But they are. And turnovers crush you. And just like the Bills' defense has been, thriving on it, when it comes back to the mean, you got to have a way to win. And I still think they're looking for that.
Yeah.
Now, certainly they're going to see, and all of us will see what happens when Michael Hoecht and Ogunjobi are part of the mix up front. Maybe it changes things. It's hard to imagine it's going to be all of a sudden they're going to be on pace for 56 sacks all of a sudden, But
they should help.
They should help.
Yeah.
And how much help the Bills need, I don't know. Their offense is still going to click, I believe. But their defense, they need some better production up front in early downs in particular, I think.
And just wrapping it up here with what Buffalo can do coming off of a bye and coming off of 2 losses. This is a team who unfortunately has had 2 straight losses every single season in the Sean McDermott era, but they haven't had a 3rd straight loss since 2018. That was Josh Allen's rookie year. Right. After 2 losses, this team is really good about figuring out what is going wrong, how can we correct it, and then doing that in the following week. What you also get is a team that's super angry. You got to believe these guys are pissed about the last 2 weeks, and they're going to follow it up with trying to do their best in the next week. It's going to awaken an angry team who wants to make things right. Josh Allen has got to be going out there against the Panthers on Sunday thinking, I am going to prove those doubters wrong. They love to be the team that's the underdog. Yeah. They like to be looked down upon so then they can prove people wrong. That's when they have I think some of their most success, what we've seen in the past.
Well, because it creates built-in urgency. And if that doesn't create built-in urgency, looking up at the New England Patriots in your division near the mid-season mark can create some urgency too, now that they're a half game up on them with a 5-2 record and the head-to-head tiebreaker.
We've said it, and it's still the case. The schedule lays out pretty well for the Bills. I think it's a plus that they've got this game to head into before they have the Chiefs coming in town.
Right.
They're going to get a game under their belt, find out a little bit more about it, get a little healthier, an extra week under the belt of all these guys that are coming back. And you also get a look at Ogunjobi and Hoecht as to how much they're going to be able to help and what maybe they can do before you have the Chiefs coming in without giving 3 games of preparation to the Chiefs to prepare for.
Yeah.
So I think the schedule still lays out favorably for the Bills to make a run at it. No matter how it feels after this bye week and coming off a 2-game losing streak, it's hard to imagine a 4-2 team feeling worse than the Bills feel right now, right?
Yeah.
So,
although the Steelers blew one to the Bengals on Thursday night, and they're feeling pretty bad about being 4-2 also.
Right. So, I think it still lays out there, but there's a lot that we just kind of got to sit back and say, okay, what do we got here? Because I still think the Bills do not know exactly what they're looking at with their own team, particularly on the defensive side of the ball.
Maddie, thanks for checking in here on a Monday. We appreciate it.
Yep.
I'm sure we will catch up with you hopefully next Monday after a victory for another edition of the Maddy Awards.
Let's get back on track.
So Bills team reporter Maddy Glab joining us here. We'll take a break, get right back to the phones when we return.